who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy Wanawoli.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra on UBC TV. Robert Chirabo. Thank you so much for being with us all the way from 6:30 till now when we move into our extension of Good Morning Uganda. Now today we want to look at efforts of government of Uganda to ensure that people's livelihoods are improved, more so by providing financial assistance to organized groups to fight or alleviate poverty. But I'm not the best person at this. That's why I have a guest in studios today, the man directly in charge of what we are going to be discussing, which is the GLOW project, the GLOW project. I hope you've heard of this. Well, GLOW is an abbreviation, but the project coordinator, GLOW project, that is Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, John Sengendo, is with me in studios to discuss this. You're most welcome, Sengendo.
Thank you, Mr. Chirabo. Good morning, viewers. My name is John Sengendo, Project Coordinator of the Generating Growth Opportunities and Productivity for Women Entrepreneurs Project at the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. I'm glad to be here.
Please go slow. This is an abbreviation.
Yes.
Let's first go slow even. What is GLOW in full?
GLOW is generating growth opportunities and productivity for Women Entrepreneurs Project in Uganda.
So this is fairly a new program. You can't compare it to youth livelihood, youth empowerment. We know programs that have been around for some time. But GLOW is not a project that has been a program that has been around for some time. Though we know that there are other areas where still projects women were given an upper hand and there was some ring fencing, but this is totally a woman thing. Now take us through the genesis.
Okay, so over the COVID period, there were discussions between government of Uganda and the World Bank for financing, looking at the opportunity for supporting women-owned businesses. And several constraints were looked at. What are those bottlenecks that are affecting women from growing their enterprises? And so it was noted that one of those challenges was lack of access to affordable credit. As you know, most loans in Uganda, commercial loans, go for up to 25%. And that affects the ability of women to borrow and grow their enterprises. There are also aspects of skilling, not having the appropriate access to skilling opportunities and knowledge of how to manage enterprises. But there are also social norms that affect the participation of women in business, especially as you know, society assigns women a lot of care responsibilities that affect their participation in business. So GROW was therefore designed to respond to several constraints and to make sure that women these constraints are mitigated or reduced so that we can see growth in enterprises owned by women. So therefore, following that discussion between government of Uganda and the World Bank, GROW came up, and as the nation will recall, it was launched by His Excellency the President last year in Chiruhura on International Women's Day 2023.
Okay. How big is this fund so far?
So this fund is $217 million for a period of 5 years. So started implementation last year in January, January 2023, and will close in December 2027. Yes.
Now, rightly said, there are bottlenecks that women face that the men may not face. For example, right to property.
Yes.
If you need collateral, what does a woman show? You may find the land title is in the husband's name, and most of the times you find that their businesses never change.
True that.
2020, even 20 some, you'll find that lady still having 3 basins of charcoal, no development of that business. But she'll be there, still flying those pancakes along the roadside throughout. Yet a man's business, usually, you see growth because they can access credit and all those social norms you've talked of don't come in. But how different is this program from the rest of the programs that government has put in place to alleviate poverty? Now,
First of all, GROW, I can say, is just one of the many programs, and I thank you because we never look at it in isolation. It's part of a package of projects and programs that government has in place. Now, what GROW, the space that GROW occupies is a space and need for that woman who has graduated from PDM, for example. She borrowed money from PDM. Now she needs more than what PDM can offer.
To be very open to, it's not startup capital.
It's not for starting businesses.
Yes.
It's not for starting businesses. GROW is targeting that woman who has participated in livelihood programs or who has used her own, and government wants to give her a hand to aid her so that her enterprise can grow, but so that she can employ more Ugandans.
She's been working with 5 sacks of
absolutely,
charcoal
yes.
Mama Nachi's Road.
Absolutely.
But they get finished, and that's where she can rotate.
She's having a constraint of growth. She has little working capital, but she has a business. And so government is saying, okay, let me lift your hand, lower the bottlenecks that you have, give you skills, give you affordable credit, so that you can move from, selling 5 tins of tomatoes to maybe 20 over time. So that's the space that GROW occupies within a network of several government programs.
Now, having occupied that place, is it a grant that the World Bank finds if you can identify these ladies, we give them these monies? Is it a revolving fund?
Excellent.
Duration of payment? Because nowadays when you talk about money, hell, people are excited. Which woman there has a business and they are watching us and they know that if they can get some money somewhere?
Yeah. Now, thank you. First of all, GROW is several things. Of course, the public, there's been the idea that probably GROW is about only loans or money. But as I said, it's responding to several constraints. So we have a skilling program. Any woman entrepreneur who wants to learn how to manage her business, government is going to train her for free.
Good.
We have also a work-based learning program. We are going to support 5,000 women. For instance, if a woman is in production, is in the creative arts, we are going to attach her to a modern studio where she will learn how to produce music, for instance. If she's running a guest house, we will invite her to a hotel. She gets that exposure. That exposure may be worth more than money because she has her resources, but she needs new skills. Now, coming to the loans, this is just one of the many packages. But I think we will have an opportunity to talk more about the GROW loan. Yes.
Very excited for the women out there. Now let's see who qualifies for these monies, because we know women entrepreneurs are many.
Yes.
Banks offer loans, but they're what they call highly risky people, and they may choose not to give them loans. So who qualifies here?
So for GROW, any woman entrepreneur, and we have partnered with several banks. There may be variations in the requirements of several banks. But for most of these banks, you should have a bank account. You should show revenue from your business.
Singing. Have you come to health? Because we are dealing with people in the informal sector. And most of the times why these government programs end up failing, remember during COVID-19, now that you said GLOW has a background of COVID-19, government put money in was it UDCA, for struggling businesses. And Kasita, Kampala Cross Traders, came out and said that because this is the informal sector. Now when you talk about issues of books showing how their business, this is a person who simply knows, I cook food at a border stage. I sell these plates. If I, now, isn't this going to be a deterrent?
No, you see, you can demonstrate revenue without necessarily having the money banked. You can demonstrate that I have been buying from so and so, this is my income, and we're not talking about a lot of money, but we are saying demonstrate that you've been doing this business for some time. So you record, I bought tomatoes from so and so, I got sales of this much. We are not talking about complicated business. And we are also not saying that you must be a registered entrepreneur. All that the bank wants to confirm that this is your business and that you have been doing this business and that you understand this business. But now you want to grow this business. And maybe the other thing I needed to add and emphasize is that the bank requires you to, because you see what we've done, what government has done is that they have entrusted this money with the banks. If a woman, for one reason or another, they lend to a woman who does not pay back this GROW loan, the bank pays us. So the risk is borne by the bank. What government has done is to make sure that you're accessing this money at the least interest possible. To the extent that if you have borrowed money you've borrowed, let me give an example of 10 million, and you pay well for 1 year, and you pay well halfway through the loan, government is saying the bank is going to reduce 5% of the principal of that loan, 500,000. It's going to, government is going to give you a grant and say, okay, pay less by 500, because government is trying to cultivate the habit of credit worthiness, so that banks going forward can trust women entrepreneurs and say, okay, these are credit-worthy borrowers, I'm removing the bottlenecks. So government is right trying to grow that credit worthiness, make sure that all the bottlenecks are removed. I mean, if you are paying 20% or 24%, and government says, now pay 10%, beyond 10%, I'll give you an incentive if you pay well. In my opinion, this is really something to celebrate and be grateful to government for.
Well, when you say it's something to celebrate, first you've talked about the requirements. I don't know if they are done, or there are still others that are critical for someone listening.
Absolutely, someone listening to. So what we've agreed with the banks is to make the options, to provide several options of requirements. As you know, in most cases, the banks ask you for a land title. But like you've said, there are many women who don't own land, but they could have access to a chibanja. So we have discussed with the banks, and they're accepting land title. If you have, fine, but if you have a chibanja, you're welcome, and they will lend you money against a chibanja. If you have business assets, you have a vehicle, you have a refrigerator, you have a motorcycle, it is going to be valued under this GROW and will work as collateral. So the issue about collateral is not as we know it in the traditional sense of a land title, but making sure that the options are many to meet each entrepreneur in the space that they occupy, so that they can be able to borrow. And now I just need also to add that you are not required to pay. Government has waived loan processing fees. You present your papers, you are assessed and supported if you qualify. But I just need to emphasize that you pay for credit reference bureau. That's an obligation for a borrower. But also if they are going to put a mortgage evaluation, if they are coming to check your chibanja, they are going to hire a surveyor who is going to come and check. You will need to facilitate that process and the registration of a mortgage. But as you know, in most cases when you go to the bank, when you access 10 million, sometimes the banks take off even up to 2.5%. So the money you actually get is lower because part of it has gone into loan processing fees, sometimes up to 2%. So government is saying no, there are no loan processing fees. So which means that the actual interest that a woman is paying on growth is even lower.
Hope for the ladies out there. Now, all it is, the benefit here is, I think, is more of the fact that the interest rate is low. But issues of collateral still stand. Now, there's also usually this fear of banks. That's why most of the times people have opted for cooperatives or circles.
That's correct.
I feel very comfortable in my circle to go and borrow money there, even if there is collateral. I don't know, for reasons. I feel very free. Because maybe many of us have grown up seeing what banks do to defaulters. You wake up, ewamwami gundi banka yatutewo. There is that. And why did we opt for banks, not what something that we've seen and really seems to be working? I want to believe.
Yeah, so first of all, women are borrowing. I just need to emphasize that because we advanced 26 billion to the banks, but by the 15th of October, from our recent analysis, women had borrowed 23 billion. And we have now added 12 billion on the 26 to the first banks that exhausted the money. So 1,400 women have borrowed this money already. But in the spirit and the feedback that we have been receiving, government has decided, and of course cabinet endorsed this, to make sure that we find women in the spaces they occupy.
Yes.
And like you've said, there will be that woman who says, for me, I've been saving with my circle. I'm more comfortable with the circle. So to increase the options, government is bringing on board circles. So a couple of circles, looking at really those big circles serving big regions in the country. So they are being brought on board in the month of December. This will be announced so that we increase. Not that the banks have not been serving, but like you rightly said, government, in an effort to find the woman at a point of need, has added the option of circles. The one who is not comfortable going to the bank will be able to access money from the circle. And I think you've said, yes, it's part of the history. That's where they've been saving, and they are therefore more comfortable. Not that they will not have a requirement, but they are more comfortable continuing with the partner that they've been working with.
Then you've mentioned the statistics, billions that have already been taken.
Yes.
Now, one of the things I've noticed over time when it comes to money being given by government is we miss the intended beneficiary of this money.
That's a good one.
And then you find that somebody else has benefited. When in your preamble, when you were talking about that targeted woman,
yes,
I've done a number of research, and I think this was under PDM when we were carrying out some research as media, my colleagues, to look for the 39%. We discovered who the 39% were. And you can't prove me wrong, because even some investigations into that have shown wrong people being made beneficiaries, and then statistics show disbursement. of this money. Now, Sengendo, with glow, the figures you've given me have shocked me. 26 billion in this spell with the targeted lady we are talking about. I highly doubt, and I'm scared and fear that we may find people who are getting this money that are not the would-be beneficiaries or the targeted money. When we're talking about this money in COVID that was given to traders, statistics were showing that this money was being borrowed. Only Kasita to come out and say, bring evidence of any of our members. Yet these were the people being targeted. So how do we avoid a repeat of such?
Thank you very much for that question and request for clarification. And I think it's very integral to the success of the project and the government program. Now, what we've done is that for us, we advance this money to the banks in bits to take lessons. No bank gets a replenishment unless we are satisfied that the money you were advanced was lent to an eligible beneficiary, that it went to the woman who qualified. So between us and the banks, we have hired an intermediary, an international accounting firm, KPMG. So they come, look at your loan books, do a survey of the beneficiaries, go with an eligibility list, and confirm that the woman has a business, she was qualifying, and that the bank has done all its due diligence, including on issues of risks on environmental and social safeguards. Now, it is up to and until when they let us know and give us a report that we replenish. And I know that in some cases has created an inconvenience of people saying, okay, we've been to the bank, but there's been no money. We are more, that is an unbearable inconvenience, but I think we need to answer in the affirmative, first of all, that this money has been lent to the right beneficiary. And because that's a very important, so once the bank reports that they have used up the money, we send an auditor to check, verify independently. They advise government that this money was lent to the eligible beneficiaries, and then we replenish. So that at no point and at no time should we have a scenario where money did not go to a person who did not qualify. Now, if a bank will find that you lent the money to a person who did not qualify, you bear that cost. Government does not accept that loan. Because we give you an advance, we accept that loan, that disbursement, after we have confirmed that it was to the right person. And for me, that's been helpful to confirm, for us to be able to stay on course and to be able to make sure that the intended person, beneficiary, we have them in mind in whatever we do.
Well, as we speak, have we had fully national coverage that a woman in Kasoga Kakuto, a woman in Bukwa, a woman in Guru, Lira, the extreme ends, at least they can be part of this program, or are we still sampling in a few districts?
Now, information is still coming in. We're expecting new reports. We receive reports every month. But in this about 7 weeks of grow, we noted that people had borrowed money from about 70 districts across the country. It's still growing. This is still early, early stages. But we would see a semblance of borrowers from different parts and regions of the country. But we are also alive to the fact that this is a national program. And the guidance we have received from Cabinet and from His Excellency the President is to the effect that deliberate effort must be made to make sure is that there is equity in the access to grow money. So this is the directive that we have received, and it's under discussion with the World Bank on how to implement this. A woman in Karamoja should have an equal chance with a woman in Chisoro, in Kampala, in Koboko to benefit. So if a woman qualifies, a woman in Butiaba, a woman in Bunyangabo should have the same chance with the trader in Chikubo to access grow money. So that's an equity issue directive that we've been given. We have had discussions with the banks. We're doing some preliminary work on how to implement that directive.
Now, Senyendo, for us in Uganda, borrowing is not a problem. Tell us where there is money, we will come, we will borrow, we will take that money.
So the
issue
yes,
is paying back. And most of these programs, I'm looking for a better word, because I've hosted technocrats like you. When things are not moving on very well, they'll tell us it's work in progress. You know, if you raise complaints, I don't want to mention specific government programs, but you see the program is a 5-year, this is just year 3, but in a house the foundation matters. Now, then the beneficiaries themselves will tell you, we weren't trained enough. I know of good programs where people who received money, seeing a car having a red number plate, they will disappear to the bushes. So for the glow, the fact that the money is now there, how have we prepared the beneficiaries? I could have run my business under my lady for some time, but maybe I'm able to handle liquidity of about 2 million. Now, because of a program, I go for 10 million. The money is right on my account. I have a daughter who has just given birth, abandoned by the husband. The house has been leaking. And boom, here I use this money.
So first of all, government has entrusted these resources with the banks. The banks have experience in assessing ability to pay. So it's not enough to want the money. It's even more important to check and confirm that you will be able to repay. Because what government is looking at is borrow this money, return it, so that another woman can also borrow, benefit from the same.
So it's revolving.
If it's revolving. If you grow money and you don't repay, you've denied another woman the opportunity to repay. So what banks are doing as our agent is to check that once you've asked for this money, your business can repay it. That's why the banks do all the checks and they ask you all these questions, because they're interested in repaying. Should you fail to repay, for us as government, the bank will give us our money. The bank has to pay us our money. So they are taking the effort to do the due diligence. But like you've said, how do we, in addition, support this woman, prepare her and support her to be able to repay? That's why I told you that GROW is not just about lending or loans. We also have training on women entrepreneurship. And we have a call out there in the newspapers. I think we'll be closing very soon. We want to hire experienced companies, firms that do training, to go and train women in how to run businesses. Because sometimes businesses fail because you're allocating the process of your business. You're asking the business to do the impossible, and therefore you lose the money. So we are hiring, bring aboard experts to help that woman entrepreneur, that one who is intending to borrow, that one who has borrowed, to know, to have knowledge on how to run her business better, so that in the first instance she'll be able to repay. But most importantly, she will grow her business, pay tax, and employ more Ugandans and look after her household. So we have that training in mind and we're working on it.
Well, we're still discussing the GROW program by Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. I'm with John Sengendo, who is the project coordinator of this program under Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Please allow me to go for a short break now. When I return, we are still discussing more of this program. And it's important for you as a lady, a young entrepreneur there. This is an opportunity for you to ensure that you can expand your business. You can get richer than where you are because there is capital for you, but also knowledge. Let's return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy Wanawoli.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda. The ministry, working with partners and affected district local governments, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating, with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
We can't thank you enough for being with us, but thank you so much for keeping it on UBC TV. In case you have just joined, I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and with me I have John Sengendo, who is the project coordinator for the GROW project under Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Now, this is an opportunity for young women entrepreneurs, or for women entrepreneurs, because if you're talking about ladies, they're always young. Now, for women entrepreneurs to get knowledge, to get trainings, to get money to add in their business. Remember, this is not startup capital. You must have done something, and all you need is monies to expand, to meet a broader clientele, to offer them your services. Now, I'm very concerned also to know, is this money dispersed in terms of groups? Can I go individualistic? Because these are some of the challenges we've been getting. That someone says, well, if I have my wonderful dog breeding program, I manage my books very well. Why must we come in a group? Then I take responsibility over someone's, So do we have to first be a group as government plans, or can I go individual and I fill in, I get my money, and also how much after all? am I getting? Are these meaningful monies or are they moderate monies, little but much?
Thank you. So what GROW does is we're lending to individuals.
Good.
You borrow this money as an individual woman, entrepreneur, or as a company, if you have a company. So the company, if it is a company, the shareholders must, 51% of the shareholders must be women. So that's what we call a woman or a women-owned enterprise. You can borrow from 4 million to 200 million. And from the statistics that we have, 98% of this money has been borrowed by individual women. So GROW, and the average amount that they're borrowing is 15 million. And most of the money is going to value addition, trade value addition and manufacturing. So that's what women are borrowing for. But they're able to borrow as individuals. Most of them are borrowing between 4 to 20 million. And most of the women, 80% of the women who are borrowing GROW are taking 4, 5, 7, 14 to 20 million. So that means that GROW is first of all, many women are accessing the money, including those who just need 4, 5, 7 million. They are the majority.
And that would be my area of interest, because by the time a woman or an enterprise goes for 200 million, surely, and also for fair, this is a big company that would need 200 million. So if you're telling majority are 4, 5, now I know it's meeting the targeted audience. Otherwise, I would have been shocked if you talked about borrowing 100 million and you are looking at addressing that medium woman to elevate her to another level of making more profits and, of course, employing more people. Now, talking of GROW, I'm aware, and I stand to be corrected, that there's also an opportunity for a grant through, is it a competition or something like that? Since you're the project coordinator, I have you here. Please clarify on that as well.
So beyond the training, or in addition to the training and in addition to the loan, government is offering a competitive grant. We have just finalized the design together with the World Bank, and so early next year we are going to announce a competition. So we are going to be awarding grants of between 7 million grant, 7 million to 110 million. And we have enough money to support a target about 3,500 women or women entrepreneurs or enterprises. So it will be a competition. You know, the Uganda say, so a competition is a competition.
Yes.
You never know whether you win, but you prepare yourself. And we have advanced, well, I mean, the purpose of being here is to provide that information so that women can prepare. But we'll be looking at especially sectors that have an opportunity for growth. We are looking at women in value addition. We are looking at women in manufacturing. We are looking at women in science and technology. Sectors that were previously the preserve of men. You know, because research has shown that there are sectors, for instance, transport and logistics or construction or real estate, that earn 30% more than the other sectors. And we want to drive women into these spaces. A woman who is in fabrication, a woman who is in carpentry, the returns on that investment is higher. Okay, so GROW is likely to target, we want to target those sectors so that we can have women be in these spaces, because the demand is higher anyway. So we are looking also climate sensitive investments, but we are mostly interested in innovative ideas, innovation. So I just wanted to let the public know that in addition to the loan, prepare yourself. And the beauty about what government has done is that these are not mutually exclusive. If, in other words, If we are offering 7 different services, one woman entrepreneur is eligible to benefit from all. You can send your employee to UBC here to learn recording if you are into that sort of business. You can participate in the enterprise training. You can get into what we call trader-specific training. You can join a women entrepreneurship platform. You can go to common user facilities. I'll talk about that briefly. Common user participation. You can get grow loan and get a grow grant. So there's nothing that you don't say that for me. Let me wait. I don't want the training. I want the grant when it comes. If you go to grow loan, it does not stop you from qualifying for the grant. So women entrepreneurs should prepare themselves. At least I've given a bit of a tip. But just before we launch that competition, we'll definitely come back to UBC and update the public. And then what I needed to emphasize is that we are going to hire an independent agency. So there will be fairness, it will be independent. People apply, they select, bring a list to government. We hire a panel of a committee of eminent persons. They do a double check and confirm that these are the best. So people should have the trust and that there will be fairness in the selection process. But we have quite a substantial amount for those grants, so the public should look forward to the grants in addition to the other services that government has offered.
Well, when you talk about a grant, you don't return this money. You don't return this money. It's not like the GLOW loan that you have to refund with a slight profit because it's a revolving fund. Now for this particular one, if you win, you take the money, invest in your business, and you're not worried of when and how you have to refund this money. Now time seems to be flying and we must get out of here for more programming. But Sengendo, when we talk about the project so far, one would say it's not been here for long. But like I earlier said, the foundation of anything matters a lot. And you can know that with this foundation, well, the roof and the walls will have issues.
Yes.
If we talk about GLOW program, how have you waterproofed against incidences of failure to pay back? Because this has become a big challenge of government programs. The funds are there, they are dispersed, but then when it comes to time of paying back, people fail. One would say women are good financial managers, but still issues arise from there. 2, politicizing. I know you're a technocrat, but most of, from the technical side, most of these programs, to a certain extent, what has hindered them has been the element of politicizing. Someone says, you know, 2026 we are going in elections. This money, how are you guarding against that? And lastly, issues of those that wouldn't be the right beneficiaries getting these monies as we wind up. Those 3 bottlenecks.
Okay, so thank you. First of all, what we've done is that we have set up a GROW office in every local government, KCCA, Kampala City, Capital City Authority, all the local governments and the 11 cities and municipalities. You'll find an office for GROW, a GROW focal person, to provide information and to respond to any needs a woman may have, including support them in applying and you know, giving them information. Secondly, we are setting up what we call platforms, associations, groups. So we are mobilizing all women into one place in every district, in every space, for them to be able to meet, network, support themselves with information. And thirdly, like I said, the banks are taking the responsibility to check and confirm that. So if you apply for 30 million, but the bank checks that the bank can say, okay, what you can bill rent is 15, because they are looking into the ability to pay. And this is a partnership with government, looking at ability to repay. So the banks do that extra work, and the circles later on will be doing that extra work of checking that a woman they have lent money to can actually be able to pay back. And I've said we are also going to support them with the training so that the relationship doesn't end at giving you the money, but most importantly, supporting you with how to run and manage your business.
Well, thank you so much, Sengendo. But before I let you go, I'll just give you a minute for your parting shot.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Robert. It's a pleasure for me to be here. We would like to thank Government of Uganda, His Excellency the President, for approving GROW and having it as an extra opportunity, and the entire cabinet. And we've recently received new guidance on how to expedite this and make this equitably accessible to women entrepreneurs, having that extra eye and interest in making sure that GROW benefits and serves all women that are eligible across the country. We'll thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to coming back in the future to update people, especially before we issue the grants. And last, I also wanted to say that we are also supporting, we will be having also infrastructure grants. If a cooperative that is into manufacturing, faith-based, or a local government that is into production services, manufacturing, value addition, we will also announce those grants early into next year. So I just want to emphasize that GROW is many things, not only just the loan, but grants, training, capacity building, and many other things. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Sengendo. I'm very sure that the ladies out there, the women out there, this is an opportunity for you. And one thing I've learned in life is the world is full of opportunities. But opportunities come to those who are prepared. Now, prepare yourself so that you don't miss the GROW grant when that arrives. But also prepare yourself so that you not miss this opportunity where you can get training, where you can get money, 4 to 200 million, okay, whatever money that you need within there. Don't miss this opportunity as a Ugandan young entrepreneur, because your business must grow. Have a lovely day. God bless you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.